All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you, and just like me. Over on the Journey Facebook page, I don't spend a whole lot of time on Facebook. I find Facebook annoying, and I like to speak my mind, and it's a place where apparently you're not able to do that. But the Journey Facebook page has some interesting comments on it. Neal, Schon, I believe, or Journey. People are saying that it's Neal, that he's posting these memes and stuff. And he says, great new music is happening, friends. That sounds like Neal, right? And then right away, listen up, friends. We appreciate your opinions, but we don't need negativity here moving forward. Stop with all the hate. If you don't care or want to support, now that's your prerogative. FYI, our last two tours were the most successful ever. So if you don't believe, please take it elsewhere. And 486 replies. Now, I'm not going to go through the replies. The comments are both positive and negative, and it all seems to revolve around a couple of things. Number one, people who are of a certain age become less concerned about new music, new material. They just don't care. They've heard all they need to hear. They are very stuck in their ways. Being a former disc jockey, I used to get really bored with the 40 songs that were beating into the ground over and over again. So when a shiny new thing would arrive that was possibly something we would add to our playlist, I was really excited about it. I've heard Don't Stop Believin' enough in my lifetime. I've heard it enough. I'm cool, actually, if I don't hear it again for quite some time, but because I go out and, drive around in my car and occasionally will tune into a radio station to hear what they're doing, I'm most likely going to hear Don't Stop Believin'. It's tedious, but it's both a blessing and a curse because the band can live off of that tune forever. The other thing that you constantly hear on these threads is no Steve Perry, no Journey. All right, so we're 23 years removed from when Steve Perry was in the band. Perry has been asked by Neal Schon to come back. Jonathan Cain has said, sure, why not? Arnel Pineda recently said, hey, I'd love to see a reunion with Journey and Steve Perry. So they've asked Steve, and Steve is, doing his own thing, putting out solo material, and I've covered his solo material. I'm going to say something controversial here, so buckle in. Steve Perry was a much better creative force when he was in Journey, and he had other guys in the group inspiring him, and he wrote better songs. He was more interesting when he wrote songs in Journey. Now, his first solo record was pretty close to the stuff he did in Journey, and he had collaborators for the most part on that record, and I think he needs somebody to bounce ideas off of. I think Neal has a certain style, John has a certain style, and Steve had a certain style. And when those guys merged all of their creativity, that's when you got Escape and Frontiers and Raised on Radio and Trial by Fire, all of which are fantastic records. So 486 replies to what Neal Schon wrote here, and 1,169 comments, which proves to me that Journey is a force and people care about it. How they care about it varies from person to person. I am very excited about new music. There are people on this thread who are excited about it as well. But the casual fan, the culturally aware, people who know Journey from The Sopranos, or, oh yeah, I hear Don't Stop Believin' on the radio, or I went to a a ball game and I heard it and so forth. I mean, it's 2021. It's not 1981, unfortunately. I'd love to go back to 1981, being 16 years old, and getting to see Journey at the Cape Cod Coliseum was one of the highlights of my entire life, to be honest with you, because that was Journey in their prime. That was Journey amidst one of their most successful tours, even though they were going to the concrete block building where I lived, or near where I lived, and one of the worst venues to probably see a show. But in those days, it was all about the music. It wasn't about the accommodations. Bands typically made backhanded comments after they played the show, like, worst place to play a show. But fans didn't care. Fans were having a blast. These days, you buy your $14 beer, you arrive in your Cadillac SUV, you hang out prior to the show, and you mingle, and so forth. It's a different experience. Part of it is being an adult versus being a teenager, but the thing is, the teen years growing up and listening to this music, nothing can really duplicate that. Nothing, it just isn't the same, and it's a part of the innocence being lost, and now everything is sort of expensive and doesn't carry that same feeling. That's why I'm so excited about Hugo Valenti and Voyage. When I hear that, that's like time travel. That takes me to 1981, because he's right there, and that band is so good. If you haven't checked out Voyage, please do so. No, they're not paying me. I'll get accused of all this stuff. No, I just get enthusiastic about stuff that I really like. So in any event, I agree that Neal Schon has to kind of clear the decks here. Journey is his baby, whether people like that or not. And if Neal Schon ever quits or decides, hey, I just don't want to do this anymore for whatever reason, it would be the end, I think. I just don't think you can continue. I know the conspiracy theories about, the band takeover and so forth was like, hey, we'll just get rid of Neal. That would be ridiculous. And there really wouldn't need to be Journey at that point. This legacy is kept alive by Neal Schon, and to a lesser extent, Jonathan Cain, and now even Arnel Pineda, who has been with the group for the longest as far as a lead vocalist goes. So you got to applaud his dedication and determination. In any event, interesting thread. If you want to go check it out on Facebook. Again, I typically do not do Facebook. So if you're looking for me, by the way, on Facebook, don't. Go over to Patreon, because I'm never on Facebook. For $1 a month, you can talk to me about anything you'd like. And that's the way I've decided to do it. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.